Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel if this is your first time. My name is Morgan here at the Life of Tillmans, and today I am bringing you guys another brain dump. I've done math, I've done ELA, now I'm bringing you what I call the struggle bus area. We're going to talk about history, science, and geography. So if you don't know, we do history, science, and when we do geography, we do all of those as family subjects. So I will have a second grader, sixth grader, and a seventh grader for the 2024-2025 school year. I really enjoy doing those subjects as a family. Number one, because it doesn't stretch me so much because we're all doing it together, but that gives us time together, which is like the big thing. We get to spend time together, we're working on subjects, it's just a good time, and we have discussions and we do read alouds and all the things. So in my consideration for this upcoming school year, I am recognizing some of my daughter's needs, mainly my two oldest daughters. My youngest daughter is just kind of tagging along. She's going to second grade. I'm really not truly focused on science and history for her as much as I am for the older girls, but she does play along with us, okay? So in that process of thinking about science and history, my girls are starting to, even though they're just one grade apart, they're starting to kind of go in their own directions. I'm going to start with science because this is the area where we're getting a little sticky, okay? So currently we are using Master Books Heaven and Earth, and we are going through our universe, which if you're not aware of how Master Books does it, it's basically what I would consider to be like units, 12 weeks per unit. And there are 3 within each of the Master Books series. Now this, the books are for grades 5th through 8th grade. So that is what we have been using actually for the last couple of years. That's what we have on hand. We have not completed all of the units in Heaven and Earth. We've actually only done one. There is, let me see, Heaven and Earth, then Weather and Water, and Our Planet. Oh, I said that wrong. Okay, so there's Weather and Water, Our Universe, and Our Planet in the Heaven and Earth series for middle school. Other science things that we've done were Master Books, God's Design for Life, and there are also 3 units within that one. There's like animals, plants, and the human body, okay? So we've done all of those. We did not do animals, and I'll talk about that in a second. So I just want to give you guys a background of where we've come with science. They also have paired with those the younger levels, which is what my now first grader has been doing along with that. Another curriculum that we have that we actually have not used just yet is Add the Wonder, and that is by Jenny Urick. I think I'm saying her name right, but she is the creator of 1000 Hours Outside, and so we have 3 of those units that we have not touched. Also for Master Books, I have already the Physical World series as well. So that's where we are, okay? Just take all of that in while I check my notes real quick. So what I am needing, as I said, my oldest 2 daughters are kind of going in their separate directions. I have one who really doesn't care for science that much. She'll do it, but she does not get excited about it. She's like, how soon can we get this over? She doesn't struggle with understanding it. It's just not her area of study. Then I have another one who is like, give me all the science, all the universe, all the planets, all the animals, everything when it comes to science. And that's really hard. I'm trying to meet in the middle. And I'm discovering right now that Master Books is really not doing it. While it's good for my daughter who is not all into science, my daughter who really is into science, it's not enough for her. So I'm needing something that is like a middle of the road type of thing, or possibly a supplement, and I'm going to share with you guys my thoughts on that. What I'm considering with our science is just staying with Master Books because we do have enough to cover us for the 2024-2025 school year, possibly into 2025-26, but we'll talk about that later. But I have enough to cover us for that. So I don't necessarily need to buy a new curriculum. However, I do need to add more to what we're doing for my middle daughter to truly get into it the way that she really wants. So some things that I have considered separating them and having them do completely separate curriculum. That makes me nervous for multiple reasons, because I know that they will need my help, and I think that it's going to stretch me further than my capacity. And I'm afraid about that because I don't want to leave my girls like hanging because I'm only one person, there's 3 of them, and there's a lot of work to be done. So that's my hesitation on completely separating my middle daughter and giving her something on her own, is that it won't truly be on her own. They will still need me for experiments. They will still need me possibly for, specific terms that they may not know and just explanations here and there. They are able to do the Master Books curriculum without me. I sit for the experiments and I just kind of guide them. So that curriculum works for them to do science independently. But in all honesty, like, I love science too. I'm a science math girl, and I'm like, let's do some science experiments. And my oldest is like, I don't want to. So we're kind of just trying to navigate that. So first option would be separate them, 2 separate curricula. And then that leaves my youngest daughter, which I could just continue to work through the Master Books curriculum that she already has, and we will be completely fine. So then my next option is to add in just more details for my middle daughter in some form. So I'm thinking supplementing. I'm thinking more challenging science experiments, and also providing an opportunity for her to dive in more if that's what she wants to do. And she does want to do that oftentimes. She will read the book and she'll say, Mom, did you know? And she'll go grab some other books. And we do have some reference books for our universe, but she's pretty much gone through all of them. And so now it's kind of like, okay, where do we go from here? So those are my 2 options. Separate them with a new curriculum for my middle daughter, or add in a supplement. So in thinking about a new curriculum, here are the things that I am considering. Berean Builders. I've heard amazing things about it. My good friend, Homeschool with Jen, she uses Berean Builders with her very science and math oriented daughter, and they absolutely love it. So I've thought about doing that for my middle daughter, just letting her do a different curriculum and working with her on that one. The other option that I found is neoscience, and this is another one. So let me go back to Berean Builders. Experiments, the details, it goes all the way up to high school. Those are all pros to me, and it's not super high in cost. What I saw was maybe $60 to $70 or $80 per level. The only thing that I would struggle with Berean Builders is, where do I start? She will be in 6th grade, and they do have a book that we could go to. And it did say that elementary, you didn't necessarily have to follow that, but by middle school, you definitely needed to be specific within the series. And there are 2 books for middle school, or 7th and 8th grade is what it is. So that's an option. Sounds great. All the things. The other option is neoscience. And these 2 that I've mentioned are Christian based. They do have biblical perspective. They also teach evolution and going into science that way. And so I like both. I like for my girls to be able to know both. And we are a Christian family. And so that's what we lean toward. But they do know about both. And I think that's important for them to learn everyone's perspectives. So with neoscience, super fun activities is what it looks like. It has amazing reviews. Within it, it has everything that you need, and that includes all of the kits and for the science experiments and all of that. It's all in one big package. The downside is it's pretty expensive, in my opinion, for what I'm looking for and for her to work on it. However, it could be used again for my youngest daughter. Another downside to it is that it stops at 8th grade, so I would then have to transition to something else for high school. And as I've talked about in previous videos, I'm really trying to find long-lasting, take us through high school curriculum, and that includes in science as well. I just want it to be streamlined and for us to get into a really good groove with those. So I'm searching for that stability in everything that we're using. Okay, I'm flipping pages here. The next one that I looked at was Science Shepherd. And I will say that by the time I got to Science Shepherd, I was like, I'm tired of looking at science curricula. There's just stuff all over the place. But some notes that I did take is that it's video lessons. So she could sit down and she could do the video lessons, by herself. And then within that, or you can stream them, you can purchase the CDs as well. It goes all the way up to high school. It's mid-range on the cost. So I think maybe right at or just over $100 for each course that your child would take. And also it goes through the science experiments as well. So she would do, I believe, the science experiments while she's watching the video, which is great because then she wouldn't necessarily need me 100% of the way because she does have video lessons. Downside to that is anytime I mention V to my girls about school, and that's the V in video, they are like, no, no, no. So that's the only thing. But I did ask my middle daughter about that and said to her, how would you feel about doing science video lessons? It's a little different, I feel like it's more hands-on, that type of thing. And she was like, I think about it. So they do have where you can view a couple of lessons and sample those lessons. We have not done that yet, but Science Shepherd is on my list, Christian Perspective as well. So all three of these. So those are my three options for adding in a completely new curriculum to for my middle daughter. I've also considered adding in kits. Different science experiment kits that may go along with what we're learning. And it may not fit exactly with the Master Books curriculum, but it's still on the same thing. Like, solar system kits are pretty generalized, or you start getting into physical world and physics kits are kind of generalized, and it will walk you through the kit. However, I was not able to find one of those for Master Books, but we typically don't have a hard time finding all of the supplies. I was just trying to think of a way to beef up the science experiment portion of it for my middle daughter. So that was another thought as well. One plus for Berean Builders is that I have a really good friend who lives here who homeschools, and she has all of the books. So I could just borrow the Berean Builders books and I wouldn't have to spend any additional money, and then I could get the science experiments together. So tell me what you guys think about those options. All right, so now I'm gonna shift gears and we're going to talk about history. Y'all know I don't really like talking about history. Disclaimer, if you've never heard it before, I'm not a huge history buff, you guys. If I want to know something, I know where to find it, I know how to look for it, and that's kind of how I treat history. It is not something that is logged into my Rolodex brain to be able to regurgitate anytime someone asks. I do not engage in historical conversations. It's just not my thing, okay? But I can look it up. I know how to find my resources. I know how to use them, and I understand my resources. So that's my take on history. So let's talk about what we have used in the past. For American history, we did America Story 1 and 2 by Master Books. When I mentioned America Story 3 to my girls and progressing to that for this current school year, they were like, let's try something else. Along with America's Story, we also use Our History, His Story by Belinda Bullard. And what it does is add in the African American, Native American, minorities perspective and growth and participation in American history. And that is currently what we are using right now. We are using volume 2. We completed volume 1 at the beginning of this school year. We enjoy it. It is a Charlotte Mason style curriculum. We read books and like historical fiction books, and we do projects that go along with it every so often. It's been great. It keeps my youngest daughter engaged. Prior to that, we also did some woke homeschool curriculum. It was Freedom is what it was, but we did not finish it. At the time, it was just too advanced for my girls. I believe we were 3rd and 4th grade, and it didn't work for them. So I stopped that and kept it. But we're moving on now to, after we finish this volume 1, we will be done with American history, and I want to get in 2 years of world history for my oldest daughter. So her 7th and 8th grade years, we will focus on world history. Here's my problem before I even talk about, the different options that I'm considering. Most of the world history curricula, they break it up into 3, 4, some even 5 or 6 year cycles. We are not on any type of cycle when it comes to studying history. I just never subscribed to that, and I don't want to get into it now. But what I am looking for is to cover world history in those 2 years. So with me not getting into that cycle, this will be her very first time completing world history. I want that 2 years. That knocks out quite a few curriculums because they are on that specific cycle. Now we could focus on certain areas, but I'm also a stickler of doing things in order. And so while I don't want to jump to, the Middle Ages before I do ancient or any of that type of stuff, that has taken a lot off of the options, I will say. So in addressing what we need, I need it for 2 years, and I need it not to be too overwhelming. I don't need 17, 18 books to read in a year. It's too overwhelming. It's too much. We will not finish it. And I know that based on our history, we will not complete it. And so I don't want to jump in head first into any curriculum like that, knowing that we will not be able to complete it because we don't focus that much on it. So I need something that's condensed and short, but straight to the point, but also not boring. I don't know if that even exists. Okay. So that's part of my thought process in trying to find a history curriculum for us. On top of that, I really would love for us to be able to incorporate art and geography with our world history. We have not studied geography since we did My Father's World, Exploring Countries and Cultures, and that was 3 years ago. Now, we run up to our maps. We have world maps and a US map on our walls, huge maps. So we are constantly running to those and finding different countries and capitals and all the things. Back to thinking about incorporating art and geography, I just want those to go together. You guys are getting like the for real brain thoughts. Hopefully I'm not too confusing. Any comments, put them down below. I love it. I appreciate all of it. And this is just my thoughts, and I'm like giving it to you guys. And make sure you stick around because I have some math and ELA curriculum that is rolling in. So curriculum videos are going to be coming up really soon as well. So history, here's what I'm considering for full curriculum and why. My first thought was knotgrass. Now, I do know that if you condense all of world history into 1 year, there are going to be things that will be missed. It is going to be selective because as a publisher, or creator of a curriculum, I am going to put in it what I feel like is the most important or prominent things and based on my opinion, right? So I know that that's going to be a thing. So with Knotgrass, their world history is 1 year, like 150 lessons or something like that. 5 days a week, you have books to read and all the things. I think that may work. My plan would be, if that were something that I chose, would be to just stretch it out over the 2 years. And this would give us an opportunity to dive in a little bit deeper in some areas that we want to know more about. One of those is Africa. We want to know more about African history. Taking the 1 year Knotgrass world history and stretching it out over 2 years, would give us an opportunity to expand on that how we see fit. Because then there's not the pressure of getting it done in 1 year because we need to move on to the next level. We could just stretch it out and we could do more research. So that was my thought with using knotgrass, and I can find knotgrass used literally everywhere. So I know that it is expensive. In my opinion, it's a little bit more expensive, but I've seen it used all over the place and it's definitely possible. So that's one option. Another one that I looked at was Sunlight, and Sunlight does have a world history curriculum. So it's Bible, history, and literature all wrapped up in one. But it's expensive. And I probably already have knocked that off my list because I don't want to pay that. I think it would be great. And some of the book selections look amazing, and we could still grab some of those and read those if they fit in with the era that we are studying. And I did consider it because I'm like, okay, I could use it for her, then I would use it again, and then I would use it for my youngest, but it's expensive, y'all. And yeah, I just don't think it's in the budget. But Sunlight is another one that I strongly considered. The last one, as I'm searching, and by this time, my brain is like, okay, girl, you're done. And also you will notice that I tend to do things in threes, and I stop myself on purpose because you could make a list forever for different curriculum and why one may work better than the other and you would tie it, and there's just too much. So I stopped myself. That's a part of my research process because I can definitely go overboard with researching curriculum. I'm sure some of you guys can feel me on that. But the last one is called Digging into World History. There are 2 volumes, volume 1 and volume 2. And this is by 123 Homeschool for me. Small, it is a PDF that you print off, about 300 plus pages, but it goes through all of world history. Not all, it goes through the first half of world history in volume 1 and the second half in volume 2. So that would be 2 years for us. It also has different activities that you can do in there. It has coloring pages for my youngest daughter. While we're doing history, she can, hang out with us as well. It also has 1 to 2 pages of lessons for the specific curriculum or topic being discussed, and we can still dive into it even more. It has lots of extension activities, and it's just a PDF. And it's like, to me, it's like dirt cheap. It's $15 for the PDF, and I print it off on my own printer. I could have it spiral bound. I can print off additional pages. I can use it in my house for up to 35 people is what the website said. So I am considering that. So as you can see, I have all of these different ranges. I have, what would be considered the lower range, which is the Digging into World History volumes 1 and 2. Then I have the higher range, which would be the Sunlight. And then I have the mid range, which would be Not Grass. And it's From Adam to Us is Not Grass history, world history, From Adam to Us. So those are the 3 curricula that I am considering for our world history for various reasons. And they all could work. And I'll probably tell y'all Sunlight's probably going to be off my list unless you guys put in the comments something that is super compelling for me to grab it. It's probably gone already. So that's where I am with that. As far as adding in the supplement for art, and when I mean art, I don't mean just drawing. I mean like art activities that we can put our hands on, like maybe we build some form of a pyramid or something, or I don't know, all types of different things. That is what I'm thinking about. So the first thing that popped up in my head, because my good friend Jen uses it, is Take Time for Art. I thought about Take Time for Art, and it is still broken up into the various areas, and there's hands-on activities. You're creating masks and, all types of things. It's not just art, like drawing type of art. And that would be great. The only thing is the kit that it comes with. So you watch videos and everything, and then you have the kit that it comes with. Well, only one of my children would be able to use the kit. I'd have to buy multiple kits in order for us all to do it. And at a cost of about $55 per kit, based on the era that you are studying, that's pricey, very pricey as well. They're not gonna share, y'all. Nobody wants to do that, but we're working on it. But that's what I would need to do for Take Time for Art. Another one that I thought about for art is Artistic Pursuits, and it is art-based, but they do have books in the lower levels for 6th grade and under that cover different eras in history, which would be great. We have used Artistic Pursuits. We've used the first book. We did not finish it, but we do really love it. We just didn't get to art. But I'm thinking if we can couple art with our history, that would just make it so good. So I'm considering Artistic Pursuits, although it just doesn't give us the hands-on portion to make other things like temples and stuff like that, or Egyptian pyramids and things like that. It's basically creating the art on a canvas of some sort. So that's another option for adding in art to our world history studies. The other one is Project Passport. I came across Project Passport as I'm just searching the internet, and here are some things that I noted. It has projects, it has video lessons, it has a timeline. They do the different eras in 8 to 12 weeks, and so we could work on the various errors over the 2 years and do Project Passport. A lot of the items are household items. It comes in a PDF. You print it off. They tell you exactly how to print things off. Maybe you need to print something on cardstock and something else doesn't need to be. It gives you all of the instructions for that. There's like these stops in history that you go on, 25 stops for whatever specific era you are covering. So ancient Greece or whatever. And you have all of these different stops. And at the stops, it tells you which activity to do and walks you through that specific activity. There's lots of videos to watch as well. It sounds great, and it's not super expensive. I think it's like $35 per, if I'm studying ancient Greece, $35. If I'm studying Africa, $35. and we could all use it, and I could print it off multiple times for the girls. So those are my 3 art options. If you have more options, let me know. I'm interested to hear all of them. Okay, let's hop into geography. If you are still here, you're amazing. Thank you so much. Okay, so for geography, as I said before, we have not used a geography curriculum since we used My Father's World, Exploring Countries and Cultures, and then 2 years ago, we used the 50 States curriculum by Jessica over at the Waldock Way. Since then, we have not, we hit our map for different things when we're looking for stuff. So we are aware, we do have that radar on. Here's what I'm thinking with geography. Of course, as I said before, I want to pair it with our world history. I think that's the absolute best option for that, and it just makes it easy. You're studying that specific area of the world, and now you are learning the geography and everything that goes along with that area of the world. So I want it to be something that's useful for us and engaging. And when I say useful, I mean there are tons of geography workbooks out there, but I don't know how engaging they are. It's more of like sit down, fill in this stuff, and then you're done. I want it to be something that truly sticks. Now, we did learn a lot from the My Father's World, Exploring Countries and Cultures, but we did not complete it. We did not finish the last 2 continents because we just got bored. It was repetitive. I love the curriculum, but for us, it was at the end of the year. You know how March, April, May get, and we're like, we don't want to do it anymore. So we stopped, okay? So I would like for it to be something that is engaging, not repetitive every single week. That's fun for us, and also that my youngest daughter can participate in as well at her level. So things that I'm considering. If I go with the Not Grass From Adam to Us, it has geography built into the curriculum. So if I do that, that will make it easy. We'll just go forward with that. The other 2 world history curriculum options that I'm considering, I know Sunlight does have a geography component that you can add in, I believe. And then the Digging into World History does not have a geography component to go with that. So I would need to add something else. Some other workbooks that I looked at online for Amazon are the Mark Twain World Geography books. It has the Eastern Hemisphere and the Western Hemisphere, and they could use that for 7th grade for my oldest, and then 8th grade. So that would be 2 years studying different hemispheres. And because we would stretch our world history out over 2 years, we could also stretch those workbooks out in that same way. The workbooks they're probably not as interesting as I would like for them to be, but they do have varying activities within the workbooks. We also have geography games. Now that I think about it, no, we don't. Our geography games are U.S. history. Majority of them are U.S. history. So I could look to add world history games in as well. We love games. So that would be a plus, would be to add games. I just thought about that. We'll be adding games in. Another one that someone suggested over at Made to Homeschool, I believe it was Anna from Just Making It Work. She suggested Trick Geography, the World Set. Now, what I have researched about trick geography is that it associates the shape of the country that you're studying with something else. So maybe it kind of looks like a bird, and then it adds in some fun words to go along with it to help you really commit that specific country to memory. And I love that. I think that's a really fun and creative way to add it in. Trick Geography World Set is about $100. But it's something that we could use over and over again. I just have to buy additional workbooks for each of my daughters to be able to use. So that is an option. Outside of that, I don't have anything else for geography, you guys. So that's my brain dump for science, history, geography. Any comments, put them down below, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.